Hey there, if you don't know me, my name is Maria and I like to make technology videos on the internet. And today we're doing our 5th book club video and it's about this really amazing book called You Are Awesome by Neil Pasricha. The subtitle is How to Navigate Change, Wrestle with Failure, and Live an Intentional Life. But basically what the story is about, it's about building your resilience. Nowadays everyone is like a porcelain doll, like anything bad that happens to us and we start cracking and we're just not resilient. What does being resilient actually mean? Well, it means that you're steady and ready for whatever the future brings. You look at it straight in the face with eyes that scream, bring it on. You also understand that every skyrocketing success or stomach-churning failure, as he says, is not the end of the world. And those situations do not define who you are, but where you are in your life currently. So at the beginning of the book, the author introduces himself and he explains how he got into this whole book writing business. 10 years ago, approximately, his first wife left him and also one of his closest friends took their own life. And he decided to channel all of that heartbreak into writing one awesome thing per day on a blog called 1000 Awesome Things. And then that turned into his first book. And then he wrote a few other ones, and then I think this is his third one, I'm pretty sure. And what's also pretty cool is that I actually got to meet him in person because the place where I work, Shopify, is in Toronto, Canada. But then this guy grew up in Mississauga, Canada, which is very nearby. And he apparently lived 5 minutes away from where my office is. When he met his future wife, he gave a presentation about this book in my office because they invited him over and he does talk to different companies. So how is this book actually split up? Well, it's split into 9 research-based secrets, as he calls them, and it's explained through some of his life stories or stories from his mother and his father, and it's really interesting and you actually get to see a whole picture of his life. And it's very cool. So it's kind of like an autobiography as well. The title is You Are Awesome. So it makes you happy whenever you look at the cover, and every single secret, it goes by very quickly. And even though some things are sad and depressing in his story, it does show you how to become more resilient, and it shows you how the characters or the people, the actual people in his life actually got through a lot of challenges in their lives. So the first secret that Neil teaches us is called add a ... So he means ellipses. So it basically means I know we feel fatalists sometimes, oh my god, the world is over, things are not going well for me, everything is bad. But you need to look into the future and just keep going, keep progressing. Don't add a period, because a period means you're done. It means just giving into life's circumstances. What we need to do is see past that period and add the ... You're letting your story continue. One tip that he gave for using this secret in your life is to add the word yet to your vocabulary. So instead of saying I can't do this, you should say I can't do this yet. So that means you're adding that ... You're saying right now I'm not able to do this, but in the future I will be. And it kind of does light that spark under you. Literally today I was trying to answer this question in dynamic programming and was not able to do it. I didn't say I'm bad at dynamic programming, I'm horrible at it. I said I can't solve these problems yet because I'm trying to think more in this mindset and be more positive. Because obviously if I keep working at it and practice more, then I will eventually be able to solve problems. Secret number 2 is called shift the spotlight. So in this secret, he talks mainly about how you should actually vocalize your failures more because it humanizes you. The more you tell people about how bad you're doing, the more that they will see you as a real person. They won't put you on some sort of pedestal, especially on LinkedIn and those kinds of websites. You see the best of people's lives and you don't see the struggles. Say some person you see, oh yeah, they say, I'm going to have an internship at this company for this semester, this company for that semester, and this company for the next semester, and everyone else is just supposed to be happy for them, right? But then you also feel a little bit bad about yourself. You're I'm not good enough, I didn't get into those things. But you don't see the failures that they went through. You don't see all of the setbacks. And doing this kind of thing, sharing your failures, it rubs off the sheen of perfection that you try to portray to the rest of the world. And it actually can help build your interpersonal connections with other people because then they'll start to empathize with you and you'll empathize with them when they share their failures or setbacks. What's also cool about this is that he says that this type of thing increases benign envy. He says that it's a good kind of envy that actually motivates other people because it lets people see you as a role model because they can see that even though you got to this specific point, you went from point A to point B, they can see all the steps that you went in between, which is kind of what I'm trying to show on my channel. sure I got from one point to another or I'm getting there, I'm trying to show the progress of me getting there. Because yes, like I fail at doing questions. I fail at interviews or online assessments and things like that. And I don't want to hide that from anyone because I don't want people to expect things from me or put me on the pedestal because I'm not perfect whatsoever. I just want to also motivate other people to improve, like keep trying new things and keep working on things and practicing. Like that's my goal at least. He also does mention this thing called the spotlight effect, where you always think that people are watching you when in reality, no one cares about you. Everybody is very selfish and only thinks about themselves. So don't be worried a lot about what other people think. But chances are they're not thinking about you. Maybe for like a millisecond of a day. He says that the younger you are and the less experience you have, the more you think that everything is like earth-shatteringly bad or something. Because then most of the time things end up going okay in the end. So secret number 3 is called see it as a step. So he's basically talking about how we should see our paths in life as an invisible staircase where everything that you can see below you, you can actually see the stairs. So it's all of the past decisions you have made and all the steps you have taken. Whereas in the future, you can't see the steps because you haven't done them yet. And he says we should take everything as a step in our lives towards getting to a better place. So one point that really struck home to me that he said was that you should be kind to yourself. So when you're experiencing the shock of loss or failure, you should remember that there's a staircase that you're walking that you can't see, and you should have the courage to keep trying to take steps and keep progressing. There's no you of today without everything in your past. There's no you of tomorrow without everything you're going through right now either. Secret number 4 is called tell yourself a different story. And he starts this chapter by telling the story of him being embarrassed and feeling shameful about himself. Because it's a very unique story about how he has only one of a certain male body part that most people have 2 of, and he didn't realize this, I think, until high school, and he felt very shameful and embarrassed. So he calls shame the swamplands of the soul, and he defines it as the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. So he says that to be resilient, we have to walk through that swamp, so get over that shame. And how do you do this? Well, the problem is not the outside world. The problem is the way that you're presenting this story to yourself. And that's why the secret is called tell yourself a different story. So change the perspective and change the narrative of how you feel about this thing. Because that story that you're telling yourself is a choice. And he gives 3 tips or 3 questions that you can ask yourself when you feel shameful about something. So they are 1, will this matter on my deathbed? 2, can I do something about this? And 3, is this a story I'm telling myself? So secret number 5 is also something related to failure, and it is called lose more to win more. So he says that losing isn't always a bad thing, and that sometimes it's the exact right step that we need to be taking. Because sometimes things just take time. So he says that you should ask yourself these 3 things. 1, am I gaining experience? 2, will these experiences help? And 3, can I stay on this path for a while? And he does say something that was interesting for me, because some people have called me ambitious before, which I thought was very funny, but I don't know about that. But he said that ambitions exceeding abilities is actually a good thing. Yeah, I think having ambition is something that I look for in myself and also in other people that I surround myself with, because I don't want to be surrounded by deadbeats who just sit there and do nothing and don't want to do anything with their lives. All they do is play video games or like watch anime, which is technically what I want to be doing right now, but I'm trying to, force myself to do actual things in life. And basically he says that wanting to be better is a real gift. So he does give some funny tips for this secret. And the first one is going to parties where you don't know anybody, which technically we can't do during Corona, but maybe you could join like an organization or club or some online community. Because he says that the problem is that if you know somebody or if you know most of the people there, then people like to put labels on other people and they like to think like, oh, I know this person specifically. But if you go somewhere where nobody knows you, then you actually have the chance to like change the way that other people perceive you or try to show yourself in a different way. So he says like accept an invitation to go somewhere, go to a concert. Basically he said that the benefit is that you're going to potentially meet very interesting people in interesting places. And an example of this was after high school, I believe. I think it was before I joined university. I kept getting ads on Facebook for this one. It's kind of a coding bootcamp, but they also have other things in it, like digital marketing and a few other things. But then they kept saying like, oh, we have info sessions for all of these different boot camps that we have, that we offer. So then I would just sign up for those. and go to those. And then I would meet such interesting people. Like, and it was a cool place because it was in downtown, and I would have to travel there and explore an area that I've never been. And then I would get to meet cool people. I would say hi, like, this is my name, like, this is who I am, I'm going into university. And they'd be like, oh, I'm from this country, I just moved to Canada. Or, oh, like, I actually am working as a TV producer and I'm interested in going into like programming, or I want to do digital marketing or whatever. It was so cool to meet different people, and I definitely would recommend doing that kind of thing. And 3, he says to count your losses. So like, see how many times you fail, I guess. See how you're improving over time. Secret number 6 is pretty interesting. It's called reveal to heal. Since there's a rise of secularism where a lot of people don't have a religion or like a specific religion where they can go to that religious place and confess their sins or heal the soul, essentially. I think it was his second book that he wrote was basically just like a journal with these 3 statements, and technically you can just write it in your own journal. Like sometimes I try to do this a few times a week, where he says every morning you should write, I will let go of, I am grateful for, and I will focus on. So basically you're trying to crystallize and eject all those anxieties you have floating in the back of your brain, and to just let them go and have concrete things that you want to focus on. So it did really help me get through like a rough period of my life where I kept like focusing on something that I didn't want to focus on. So I would say like, okay, I'm gonna let go of this, and then I'm grateful for all these good things I have in my life, and then I'm going to focus on these specific tasks that I want to get done today. Secret number 7 is pretty interesting, and it's called find small ponds, because he says there are far more problems and opportunities in the world than there are talented and hardworking people to solve them. So he says that you'll learn faster and gain more experience quicker if you're actually helping out somebody who actually needs help. So not just a big corporation where you're just like a cog in the machine, but you work for a small company or a startup. So he says to find the small ponds so that you can be the big fish. So secret number 8 is pretty interesting, and it's called go untouchable. So he says that we need to stick a twig in our spokes. Like if you have a wheel in a bicycle, like stick a twig in it so you stop going. Like you need to slow down essentially. So he says we need to start creating untouchable days where you just focus on that one thing. Like you turn off your phone, you're not like distracted by anybody, and you tell everybody in your life to basically shut up and leave you alone for that day, like once a week, say like Saturdays or something. And then that's where you're going to focus and try to get more done. And the reason why he says that you should have untouchable days is that they are deep creative times of work, and even if you have those moments where you get distracted or tired, then you can just take a break, get a snack, or do some meditation or something like that, or go on a walk. And secret number 9, I think it's really cute. It's called never, never stop. The fact is we can only ever really go forward. So the point is to just start going that way and never, never stop. With that, I hope you learned a lot in this book club and that it made you a happier person, and I hope you realize that you are a very awesome person and you just need to work on your resilience and to get through things. I definitely needed to read this. Like I read this a while ago, like a few months ago, and I took notes on it, and then I reread my notes and I'm like, oh my goodness, I needed this right now. Like this is a good reminder because I'm having a lot of problems and I need to become stronger and more resilient. So I hope that this helps you in whatever point you are in your life. And let me know in the comments which secret you like the most and which one you're going to try to apply in your life. And let me know if you have any other book recommendations, because I'll definitely want to read some more books this year. Oh, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're not subscribed. So I'll see you next time. Bye.